Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing the Geeks review of the 2016 Toyota RAV4. What I thought I'd do today is a review from the perspective of a technology nerd, because a lot of the other reviews out there are either from car enthusiasts or from the family car sort of perspective. How does it meet the needs of a small family? But I thought I would take a look at the car from the perspective of a technology geek. You know, where does this thing fit in 2016 with a lot of the technology that we have available to us today? And basically, is this car modern enough to be a 2016 car? Let's go take a look. So while the outside of the car is really beautiful, really the truth is, as a geek, the things I'm going to say most about this car really have to do with the interior and the technology that it's using. So the first thing to say is keyless entry. As you saw, the trunk or boot opens on its own using the key fob, but the key fob also enables one-touch start, so I don't actually need this to start the car. Now, it is a hot day here in Texas, and so it's no surprise that the air conditioner is blowing. But what really surprised me when I was out on the road and I turned off eco mode is that the fan speed increased. I think you can probably hear it there. I'll turn eco mode back on and you'll hear the fan slow down. It is a neat thing that eco also has to do with the amount of energy that the car is using overall. And so turning the eco mode on reduces the climate control. So just turn the air conditioning off just so we could talk a little bit about this console. Now, the first thing to say is this console, it's 2016, it's brand new, but it already looks extremely dated. This is a resistive touchscreen. It is both ugly and annoying. So first thing to do is talk about the map system. You can see that there's lag and latency as it moves around. The computer inside of here is clearly not very powerful. If I'm going to complain more about the GPS system and setup, it's going to be that it's not Google Maps. I mean, everybody all the time uses Google Maps, right? So to have an external GPS, well, it's not really external, it's kind of built into the car on such a low resolution screen. It's pretty disgusting, and it doesn't really work very well. Without the ability to get information and updates from other cars and or systems, this thing just is never going to work as well as my mobile phone does. So it's kind of a waste that this setup is built in. And there's just so many things to complain about with it, both in terms of the display and the lag, to the little icon that's like a circle with a triangle in it. Okay, we're looking at the driver's gauges here. You can see that we're in park. Outside, it's got a temperature of 96 degrees Fahrenheit. That's why there's a little bit of fog on this screen here, but please bear with me. Now you can see that there's a compass display, and I'm currently pointed between N and no. But, I mean, there's north, northeast, west, and NO. I don't know why it's NO and not NW. That is really a crazy thing that's happening there. I'm going to say it's just a computer error that they've built right into the dash. But there again is that circle with a triangle in it. How easy would it be to create something that looks like a compass or that seems to point the direction that I'm pointed in? But instead, there's that circle arrow thing. And not only is it confusing, it's ugly. And, you know, if you're going to live with this car every day, it's little geeky details like that that'll just, one of those things that makes you scratch your head a little bit. Now, beyond the GPS functionality, of course, there is the mobile phone select, so you can use your mobile phone. I haven't paired my device with this car as it's not mine, so I won't be doing that today. Pressing apps, we can see the apps that are available: navigation, audio, phone, eco, which I'd love to learn more about, setup, traffic, weather, and the maintenance app. So just pressing eco gives us trip information so we can learn more about the drive that we're on. The truth is, most of this time in this particular unit lives in navigation. That's kind of it. There is a micro SD card slot over here. This panel opens away. As you can see, that micro SD card slot there allows you to put in other map cards or any multimedia that you want to insert. Besides that, this radio does XM, HD radio, and Grace Note. This is the JBL Green Edge package, and I know that this is an add-on. It doesn't have a cassette tape, but this, even though it's 2016 and it's brand new, already looks dated. One of the things that this car does provide is backup assist, and you can see as I turn the wheel, this provides an exact location for where the car is going and where it would go if the wheels were straight. You can see here in the bottom, you can see the license plate and the bottom bumper, so you can get very precise. I think that the location of this fisheye camera is excellent, and how it's used is great. Just that the screen with that resistive display is not that great. In terms of the steering wheel and where everything is placed, it's really nicely set up for a driver. I have to give them definite points on this. You know, from here with your thumb you can control audio and phone settings, you can control the menus, and of course cruise control. Looking down here at the center control panel, you can see that there's a nice space to put your phone. Unfortunately, my phone's too big for it. I've got the Nexus 6, so you'd need a smaller phone to be able to fit into that space there. But I suppose you could put your phone in other places, even if it's not very convenient. There are two cup holders, one here and one here. This one has a variable size thing for it, which is useful. I don't have any cups to test it out at the moment, but so far so good. You can see under here we have an option with just a couple of the features. This does have a USB connect here, but it is a 500 milliamp port, so you can see that we've got a more powerful charger there. One of the things I wanted to point out was that there are several modes for this car. Park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then there's the sport mode. In sport, there's also sport select, which is a plus and minus, so that you can treat it like a manual car. There are also flappy paddles on the steering wheel, and I'll be talking about those later. One of the features I really like is the one-touch lock-in. One of the other features is this blindside detect. The blindside detect will let you know if there's a car in your blind spot, which is great. Let's take it for a spin. This particular package comes with a sunroof overhead, which is really nice. On a hot Texas day, it's not the best idea to have it open, but it is a neat feature to have for sure. I'm definitely a big fan of the mini SUV size car. I think it's fantastic in terms of the height from the road, the driver experience, the all-wheel drive. I think these things make this a great size of car. I'm not going to give it too much of a driving experience because the truth is I'm not much of a driving expert. I've only owned a few cars. This is the first Toyota I've really had a chance to go in depth with. I'm not going to be doing any wheelies or donuts or anything exciting. But what I am going to do is just drop it into sport mode. So to do that, I just push the shifter in towards me, and now I can start to sequentially shift. Now, I'm a guy who typically is pretty disappointed by this. Not only do I think that the direction that you're supposed to be pushing the shifter is the opposite to the way that it's actually configured. This goes up a gear. I feel like you should be pulling to go up a gear instead of pushing forward. But that's not the thing that really bugs me. The thing that really bugs me is these flappy paddles that I've got on the back of the steering wheel. I know that this would be a feature that a lot of people would ask for, but having used it for just a little while, it's completely pointless. This isn't a sports performance car, and in terms of the sport or performance you get out of using flappy panels, it's really kind of shitty. The shifting is so sloppy compared to what you'd expect. Really, I would hope for something crisp and, make it feel like I had a manual car. Especially coming from the manual CRV, which I owned when I was living in New Zealand. I really thought I would be getting something that, gave me a bit of excitement in the car, but it really doesn't. Not really taking it off-road, but I am doing jumping curbs here a little bit, driving through an unfinished neighborhood. Again, this isn't really a purebred off-roader. It's kind of an in-betweener. It's sort of the suburbs version of what you'd need if occasionally you wanted to drive on the beach or occasionally drive and handle well in a gravel path or something like that. Really, a lot of this car is about the amount of storage that it has and the ability to sit a number of people. Because it's 2016, we're looking for cars to be so much more user-engaged. As a piece of technology, there are definitely ways in which it lacks. The 2016 RAV4 is a brilliant car. As a car, it performs perfectly. It's reliable, it has a nice ride, it feels good, but as a technical piece, it definitely falls short. It doesn't seem to be aware of the way the world is headed, at least with our larger mobile phones, with our ability to integrate Google Maps and navigation into our everyday lives. This car seems almost to be at odds with that. And that's just something I wanted to bring out. While as a car, it's brilliant, and all of these things are upgradable and changeable, and I just wanted to show exactly what the inside of a 2016 Toyota felt like for somebody who, like me, has desire for technological piece as much as for an automotive piece. Thanks very much for joining me today. Don't forget to press subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please post them in the comment section below. If you give this video a like, it lets me know that you guys like content like this, that this is an interesting way to look at a car. Hope to be making more content like this in the future. If you'd like to support this channel, you can do so on Patreon, or you can buy me a cup of coffee, which I always appreciate, in the About section below. Thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see you again soon.